Drills Talk, episode 110. And in this episode, we're going to discuss the top 4 ways to experience capital gains. This is based on a blog I wrote in the past entitled 7 Streams of Income, Capital Gains. Capital gains is buying something and holding it, it grows in value. And when you sell that, that difference between what you bought it for and what you sold it for is capital gains. Let's discuss.
Created by the great wizard of the new world.
Drills Talk, episode 110. In this episode, we're going to discuss the top 4 ways to experience capital gains. But before we get started, please like, subscribe, show your love however you would like to show your love. Here we're an entrepreneurship-based channel. Every Monday, we have a new blog. Every Wednesday, a new Drills Talk. And every Friday, I release an instrumental to bring your weekend in right. Let's get started. Number 1. Number 1 is to invest in collectibles. And you ask, what collectible? It doesn't matter. Anything that is collectible and rare and has a following of others collecting that rarity, then it's worth something. It could be as simple as trading cards. It's not as popular as it used to be, but they still sell for a lot of money. You buy a pack and, let's say 5 years from now, maybe a rookie turns out to be one of the best players ever, and their rookie card is now worth 10 and 20 and 30, 40, sometimes 100 times more than what it was worth then. It happens all the time. There's people who collect antiques. You can go to a secondhand store and find some antiques, clean it up, get it appraised, and it turns out to be worth more than your yearly salary. It can happen. It's just about having that eye. What's the eye? Well, the eye is to see something and can tell that that thing is going to be of value. That thing now, it can be anything. It can be a toaster. It doesn't matter. If the person who makes those toasters make a good product and maybe for some reason, some odd reason, they go out of business, and this was like the best toaster, they lasted like 50 years and they went out of business for some strange reason, but you happen to have one in pristine condition, there's going to be somebody who collects that, who's going to want that, and that's a collectible. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be art. It can be, say a painting, for instance, but it can also be a sculpture. And based on that artist and how they live their life, they live their short life, or something tragic happened, or, if they turned out to create another huge piece, but you have this piece that they created when there were no one, that can have value and maybe even more value than the popular piece. You just never know, but you have to have that eye and say, okay, well, this right here, this thing can be worth something. Can you practice that? It's a skill. It can be learned. Number 2. Number 2 is to buy up and coming stocks. Now, this, you really don't have to know anything. It's just about research and maybe digging a little deeper than just reading one article on Yahoo Finance or something. But buying up and coming stocks, say for instance, right now, electric vehicle stocks are very popular, right? Everyone's rushing to, have these 100% electric vehicles and to have them go as far as they can on one charge, right? And I think right now, the highest is like 500 something miles, which is incredible because some full tanks of gas don't get you 500 something miles, but they're only going to get better with better batteries. We're going to have, better mileage. So it's going to be a time, and I don't know how long, from now we're going to be there, but there's going to be a time where on one charge, we're going to get 1,000 miles in one charge. We're going to be able to drive pretty much most of the country on 2 charges. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And I'm not saying we're going to do it as far as, taking that kind of drive, but the fact that we're able to do it when before, when they were pretty new, you couldn't go more than, a 150 mile, 200 mile range. And you know how things progress as far as technology really, really fast. So that may be an up and coming stock you can get into. Marijuana stocks are up and coming stocks. They're being legalized slowly everywhere. And the more dispensaries pop up, the more legal it is, the more accepting it is, the larger and bigger those stocks are going to be because people are going to start investing in them. But if you invest in them, say now, you can have those capital gains in 5 years, 10 years to where your $1,000 investment is worth $50,000 to $100,000. Up and coming stocks, look at them. It's very easy to go and buy Apple, but the chance of Apple being worth 20 times what it's worth now, slim. But the chance of this small stock with, it's $5 a stock and maybe only worth a couple hundred million, yeah, that can 10x. That can 20x. So think about it. Up and coming stocks, do your research. Number three is to buy crypto or NFTs. So cryptocurrency, you probably are aware of what it is. NFTs, maybe not so much, but I'm going to explain both. So crypto is a digital currency, either in the form of tokens or coins. Not important right now, the difference between the tokens and coins, but just understand that it's digital currency. It doesn't exist. You can't touch it, right? Then you have non-fungible tokens, which are JPEGs or artwork. And we buy this artwork and it's called a non-fungible token because we have record of us owning that one thing. So let's say that a person makes an NFT and there are 8,000 variations of it, right? We own one. How can I prove that I own this one? Well, it's a thing called a blockchain, and there's a record of a person creating this, which is called minting, and then you purchasing it, and then you having it. And it's only that one that you bought, right? So that one, it has a individual address to where there's no other one like this, right? So you have a one of 8,000 thing in this world. That's where the value comes from. And then there's different rarities based on, the makeup of this picture. Let's say they have a picture and they're, crazy variations, and then some are more rare than others because it's all computer generated, right? So you have these ones that are like even more rare than the others. So let's say I have one that's considered common because it has traits that maybe 50% of the tokens have. So like of the 8,000, 4,000 have this trait. But then there's others to where they're rare, and of the 8,000, only 10% have this certain trait of, in my picture that I have. That makes it more valuable. So if on average these things are selling for, this is an arbitrary number, right? Let's just pull it out the sky, $1,000, a regular one. But a rare one is 10 times that amount, right? So you have $1,000 NFT, but a rare one could be worth 10,000. And now we have things that are just out of this world where they're NFTs that are worth $400,000, $500,000 because of their rarity, because of people wanting to be in part of the in crowd. They're entertainers buying these things. They don't understand what they are, but they're buying them because they have value. They're of value. And they know that it will accrue an interest. And when they do sell, they'll have what is called capital gains. Again, you have to do your own research, but I'll be glad to expose you to crypto and NFTs. They're both, pretty new, and investing in them now, you can probably pretty much blindly invest in something, wait 5 years, and it'll be worth 10 and 20, 100 times what it's worth now. But it's not always going to be like that. So get in somewhere where you're comfortable and let's make some money. Number four is to buy a house. Buying a house is the most common way to receive capital gains. So buying a house, say $300,000, you live there for 5 years, you make some changes, make some upgrades, the neighborhood gets a little better, and now it's worth $500,000. You sell that house, your capital gains is $200K. Now you get the $300K back also, right? So now you can redo the entire process and maybe buy a bigger house. And in 5 years, that $500,000 house is worth $800,000. And then, of course, you play the same game and you $300,000 in capital gains, $500,000 back for the cost of the original purchase, a house. So how much are you going to play that game? Maybe eventually you stay somewhere and you don't want to play anymore, but that's what capital gains is. That's how it works. Capital gains can also turn into what we call equity. So then you can take yourself out a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan. You can utilize that money to invest in other things to get more capital gains. And you can just keep on playing this game as you're making money and learning how to improve on this stream of income, because there are 7 of them. This is one, capital gains. So as you know how to play the game and you're utilizing your equity in your home, you can safely take a little bit more risk at a lower interest because your house is basically the asset that's tied to this. So instead of paying, 15, 20, 25% on a credit card or a personal loan, which is going to be, 10 to 12 to 15%, you're going to get a 3 to 4% interest rate because your home is the collateral. So it's a great asset to have. It's a great way to understand capital gains and to be able to invest in more opportunity to get capital gains by owning a home. So hopefully this helped you. Hopefully you have a little bit more insight, and hopefully you got some research to do. Drills Talk, episode 110. These are the top 4 ways to experience capital gains. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's drills.com. Check this out. It's Drills.